You know, as men, we don't tell females how much we change to accommodate them. We just figure it out.
Until you get mad in the car one day and you blow up on them.
Well, because if you get to that point, as far as being mad or pissed off, it's because it's been bubbling up so much, right, that she's not actually listening and valuing how you feel. You feel me? And so now we get to the point that over and over is repetitive. You either don't tell her, don't talk about it no more, and it's still fucking you up inside, or you become like a fucking stick of dynamite.
True.
And she only sees the end of it.
Right.
Right? And so that's where as men, we have to truly voice shit like consistently. Because women, and I promise I'm gonna tell you, this is what I figured out. Women, bro, they don't give a fuck about what's going on. I'm gonna tell you, here's what they do. You can tell them something, right? And you're very self-aware, you're very emotionally intelligent. And you can voice it in a way that's not threatening or attacking. It don't matter. If she's not emotionally intelligent or stable, it's going to become less about what you said, and it's going to become more about how she feels about what you said.
Yeah, because they're also not logical. They're speaking from emotion.
Right? And because how they feel to them means more than what's real.
Facts.
Right? And I always say, I understand. I value how you feel, but that does not take precedence over what's real.
Don't neglect.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of women don't like that. And that's why, because anytime you tell them something, it's making them accountable for something.
And they ain't ready for that.
And they don't like that.
So pause that.
Oh no, I think we just got the show opener, bro. That's a show opener. Welcome to the King's Experience. Me and man Mark Chill. As always, we got Jeff Jizzle in the building.
Yeah.
And we got a special guest with us, probably actually the tallest guest that we've ever had. My man Slack. What's happening, bro?
Nothing much, man. No, I appreciate y'all having me here.
Hey, man, we appreciate you coming,
Happy
man.
you came, brother.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You were saying some pretty profound things, and we definitely want to get into that. But tell the people a bit about yourself, man. You know, you like 6'9".
6'8", 250. Retired athlete, but quick rundown, man. Typical athlete, you know. Great college career. Ended up being a professional for about 8 years.
Where you from?
New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Born and raised in New Orleans.
Shout out to NO.
Bounced around town. Yeah, man. That's where it come from.
I know.
Yeah, man. But listen, had a great professional career. Really enjoyed myself, and I come from single mother household where sports was literally one thing that I feel would save me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so just being a guy who come from that poverty-stricken part of the hood, as we're gonna call it.
Yeah. Being
able to be the first person out of my immediate family to go to college and then get paid to do something I have been doing for such a long time. You know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and not a lot of people get to experience that. You know, but I mean, outside of that, man, we're gonna talk about a lot, but we can dive deep into more about sports if y'all want. But I'm here to enjoy the ride.
I got a question. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of people out there that are park legends, and you've surpassed that. You've played overseas. You know, you've done things that people dream about doing.
Yeah.
Now that you've done all that, and you came, you know, out of your career, retirement, corporate, what did you see similarities between the two?
Yeah and no. As far as, like, we're gonna call it the transition, right? From careers. As an athlete, you work day in and day out to be successful, right? You build habits and characteristics that's going to help you be the best player you can be, right? You sacrifice time away from your family, you miss holidays. Like a job, you clock in and clock out, and most of us as athletes, we clock in 2-3 times a day, right? And you see the finished product when we get out on the court. As a corporate person who now works for in management in corporate America, that first year or two of transitioning probably was the toughest thing for me, because I went from having a athlete's mindset, right, to structure, to detail oriented, to sometimes having to have my own individuality, but also figuring how can I incorporate that into like a team setting, right? And I had to do it from a non-sports thinking athlete.
Big time.
And you, as athletes, we're not hardwired like that.
Yeah, you gotta change your whole brain.
Yeah,
you gotta
because
change your whole
if you think
mental.
about it, that's why most athletes don't truly leave the game, right? Their comfort zone is still around it. So that's why you have coaches or
Analysts.
fitness trainers,
And analysts, yeah.
right? And so it's because something keeps them attached,
Yeah.
right? Because of me leading that, and some of the personal things I went through, I had to go cold turkey.
Really?
You know what I mean? Because I told myself, one, I was tired of people knowing me for sports. I felt like life was still on easy mode even though I retired.
Okay.
You know? And like, okay, I need to try something else, man. I'm tired of people, oh, that's slack, oh, that's slack. I hadn't picked up a ball in like 4 years.
Really?
You know what I mean?
And they still had that aspect of you still.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
even
he's kind of short, so you know.
Yo, super short.
You know,
right?
so yeah, so like even I would say 2 years ago I went up to my college, you know, and people still recognize me, people in the community. And mind you, I mean, I've been gone so long, they probably had kids who were just babies.
Wow.
But they like and so but it's the impact is great. Right? The impact you leave on the community as an athlete is great. But I needed to be known more than that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I chose corporate. And I started from the bottom, bro. I started in customer service.
Really?
Right? What is the lowest level job you can get I work at State Farm.
Okay.
Right? Lowest level job you can get. And I just grinded. The characteristics I built in sports helped.
Okay.
Right? The hard work. Right? The consistency, the discipline. You think you're better than me? Let me show you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so those characteristics and those habits that I built off the court helped on the court. You know, it helped soften the blow of being in corporate America, right? And my ego, I've never allowed it to get involved, but I had to remove it because I knew where I was at. You know, I went from being a superstar athlete, making great money, to now, in a sense, making damn that I felt like penny on a dollar.
Yeah, you're the low man on the pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, over the course of that time, you know, my characteristics start to show, my personality start to show. So I go from there to being an underwriter to now an underwriting manager.
Okay.
You know, and I did that in the span of 5.5 years.
Well, that's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, but it's once again, it's the work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, so anytime you apply yourself to something, if you do it with the intention that you're going to be the best at it, you have no choice but to get better.
Right.
And it's never anybody else's time, it's my time. So as I went through that transition like we talk about, it's okay, I'm going to go at my pace, I'm going to do what I feel is comfortable, right? And then I'm going to allow the success that comes from that be dictated on my time. You can't change the title that I have or anything, you know, like.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's real big, because I think a lot of people, especially when it comes into it, like you like you said, you don't let your ego get ahead of you. And a lot of people look at other folks' success and how other people are maneuvering or excelling, and it's really you versus you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's you today versus you yesterday.
Yeah.
And how are you going to better yourself from yesterday? So that's dope, man.
Yeah. If you think about it, it's a lot of people lose themselves because they're trying to compete with people, and you don't know how people got there.
Right.
A lot of people, I say, get born into jobs. Right. A lot of us, per se, we actually have to work for it. Right. For me, I love the journey and the process, because it makes it that much more that even though we could be in the same position, have the same title, I know I diligently put in the work, and you can't outwork me.
Right.
You know, and that's where I found the success in. You know, I don't want anything handed to me. You know, and I feel all of us feel that way. It feels better as a man when you know you've worked your behind off for something and you can see the results.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of where I feel when we're looking at some of the transitions we make when people fail or you succeed, like, it's how much work did you put in? You know, like, I'm gonna tell you a quick funny story where when I was in customer service, because of the connections I had, I was having one-on-one meetings with the VPO of State Farm. He's retired now, but my supervisor was mad at that, because when I told him I wanted to start moving up, you know, I had only been with the company 8 months. And he's like, okay, find a mentor.
Yeah.
So
that's the first thing they say at State Farm. Find a mentor.
Find a mentor. So
Really?
through my basketball connections, I'm like, okay, I still don't know much about corporate America. So let me hit the people that know, right? Let me talk to people I know. And because I knew people higher up and who was willing to meet with me, because they already knew who I was,
Okay.
right? They respected me, you know,
Yeah.
on and off the court. Like, I was able to meet with him. He was like, yeah, man, funny story, I remember this to this day. June of 2015, I'm telling you. He was like, hey, yeah, I've never seen a customer service representative meet with a VPO.
Yeah.
And I told him, don't ever let my title fool you.
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah. But
Yes.
it's our title shouldn't dictate who we are.
No, and it shouldn't dictate who you can reach out to. You know?
Exactly. And some people, they'll play that game, that waiting game, and they miss it. It's like,
Yeah.
because you're my supervisor, you feel you're superior. Nah. Right? You're my supervisor means you have more responsibilities in your role than me.
Right.
I'm going to respect you. I'm going to honor your position. But your job title does not ever give you the power to disrespect me as a person. Right? And that's how I move.
And you can't be, and that says something too. You can't be afraid of asking for help, because the worst thing that he could have said was, I can't meet with you. You know what I'm saying? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Man, big facts, man, big facts. And that's why I truly want people like, man, if you want to do something, go for it. I recently was researching something about our subconscious mind, about how every night before you go to bed, right? Envision what you want to do, vision how much money you want to make, and tell yourself that as you lay in bed and as you start to relax. Every night, just start telling yourself that. And what your brain does, even while you sleep, is start creating ideas and things.
To how you can do that.
Yeah.
The power of the mind.
Yeah, right? And so I was like, dang, I've been missing a boat. Lord knows some of the stuff I think about when I'm going to bed,
Yeah.
right? But so since I've done that, though, I just feel myself some days walking around like, damn, that would be good.
Yeah.
Right? And like now, oh, it's working.
You find yourself being more creative. That's something I started doing a couple of months ago myself. Was like, I don't watch TV for an hour before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll read something, or I'll listen to something motivational, or like, just let it play while I'm laying in the bed. Because when you hear it, it makes you start thinking it. When you start thinking it, once you go to sleep, your sleep is better.
Yeah.
You sleep better, because if you watching drama TV and you know what I'm saying, whatever, then that's when you generally have bad sleep. But you tend to have better sleep. You wake up feeling more energized, and you wake up with more positive thoughts.
Is that also because you're going into your purpose? And I do speak about what you put in your ears. I'm not putting in my eyes, but what you put in your ears and your eyes and in your body, eating wise. All these things amount to who you will become, because if you feed yourself toxic energy all day long, whatever.
Yeah, you are what you eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And literally the same thing. You're filling your mind with the good thoughts and the good things.
Here's something, like you said, you read. I read a lot, man. The 5 a.m. Club book, right? One of the best books I've read. There's a 20-20-20 rule, right? Get up every morning, 4:35, right? That first hour of your day, strategize it to where the first 20 minutes you're doing some type of activity, workout, fitness, right? The first 20 is fitness. The second 20 is basically mindfulness, whether it's meditation, something for your mind, body and soul to get connected. Meditating, listening to something, or reading something, right? The third 20 minutes is something goal-oriented, dedicated to what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Right? And that's from 5 to 6 o'clock. And if you do that every single day, by the end of the year, you put yourself 85% high. You give yourself 85% higher chance to be successful than everybody else.
20-20-20.
20-20-20 rule.
But you implemented that.
Yeah. And so
Y'all should too.
It's great, man. When I first started, it sucks sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I work out a little bit longer, but like that 20 minutes for me, I'll go in that living room, get my stretching going or whatever,
stretch.
something active, right? Get a little sweat going, cool. Next 20 minutes, okay, let me sit down and meditate, right? Meditation for men is big, because for us, the mental toll that we carry on a daily basis, meditating does wonders, right? Meditating, or I'll just put on some soft jazz music and just relax. I don't want to hear nothing outside of it, And then that last 20 minutes, okay, like the podcasting, right? Let me get on YouTube and look up podcast. Who's the best podcast? What they doing, right? Anything that's going to help fuel our growth system, And once you just build it into your everyday routine, you'll start noticing things like, man, I'm starting to separate myself from people, right? I'm getting better. I feel better.
Yeah.
My thinking more positive, man. And so it's just finding what works for you in a sense.
It's the small wins, man. It's the
Man,
real
big
small. The
facts.
small
Big
wins
facts. Yeah.
equate to so much more. Like the 20 of meditating. I'll pray. And it might not be 20. It might not be 10 minutes, but I'll pray. Then I meditate. So I take it as I'm talking to God, and then I meditate after, so that I'm listening.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good strategy.
Talk to him, and then shut up, listen.
Listen, man, I love that process. I'm gonna talk to you, God. So I'll tell you how, but bro, I'm listening. I need it.
They talk to
Right?
me, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Make sure I know. Make sure I know I'm on the path. You know,
That's
guide
right.
me,
Yeah.
and let me know that it's you guiding me. So that's heavy. 20-20-20 rule.
So I can say sitting here over the years, I see the growth in even the conversation that you're having today.
Yeah.
That I think someone who would have met you then will still see the same growth, and even the people out here can hear it come through and feel it because it's real.
Yeah.
When you're real and it's really real, they'll be able to connect with it. So I think that's going to be big for a lot of people, especially men. Pay attention.
Man, mental health is real. June was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
And you didn't see
exactly.
many posts about that, did you?
You don't see it because generally when you ask somebody, a guy, how they're doing, the response is I'm good. But the response is I'm good because don't nobody care if I wasn't no way.
Facts.
You know, so I ain't gonna complain.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to take the mental health heavy.
Yeah.
And that 2020 will
exactly.
certainly get you into a better mindset to start your day.
And now you got to think, as men, we grew up whereas any time any femininity was expressed for us, we got checked, right? There was no softness, no feminine energy or anything. As a man, you are a rock.
Answer this question real quick.
Right.
I know I'm cutting you off. Finish this one. You acting like
A bitch.
Bitch.
you can finish that without me having to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we heard it.
Yeah,
Implementing
exactly.
us.
Because as a man, your job is you never ever show emotions. You get shit done. And anytime you showed emotions, right, you became soft. or weak.
Soft. Yeah. Soft.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
And so this is what another thing where I'm glad we on that quick topic about the mental health and how it goes. It's like women get mad when we confide in our guys.
But you know what we do? I can't tell you how many times you two individuals have told me straight up, nah, you tripping, bro.
Yeah.
No, Jeff, don't do that. Like, you know we've talked.
Yeah.
And you know we've talked. But we do that for each other.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
always going to be like that
Yeah.
for us, because do you feel like we have a harder shell, so we're used to that and we can get it or we can take it easier? Or
Nah, I think that when you find people, men, that you know care for you and
That's what it is.
competing with you, right? I can confide in you because I know you have my best interest.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the time when men start to confide in their woman, at some point in the relationship, it used against them. And so what he does is, if he sees it being used against him, he may not say anything, but deep down it hurts him, so he's gonna just shut off.
Yeah.
Right? And so when a man is shut off, he becomes emotionless. When a man becomes emotionless, there is a high % chance of a man committing suicide.
Yep. Most suicides are by
Run
men.
that back. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
Now, I'll try to remember exactly how I said it. Is that when a man confides in a woman, right? When he confides in her, it gets used against him. And when it gets used against him, they might express it, but he shuts down. Once he shuts down, he becomes emotionless. Once he becomes emotionless, he becomes suicidal prone. Right? And so what happens is that if I shut down from the person I care about and I'm investing in, and I have nobody to talk to, my days and nights become me sitting in a car just drinking my sorrow and pains away, me just shutting off from the world, me having high stress, high anxiety, all the things that men,
Have.
have right now.
Isolation.
Right?
Isolation.
Men have a higher suicide rate against women.
Yeah, we do.
Right? And they wonder why. And it's like, well, we have been conditioned as a society, as men are supposed to basically, what I say, be Superman.
Fact.
Take on everything in the world, hold ourselves together, don't show no weakness, and figure it out.
Period.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but now, because of the sensitivity of the world, it's been an overabundance of softness being directed towards men, right? And we'll save that for another one.
Well, because it's a contradiction. And the reason is because it's a contradiction between men make changes because of most of the time because of women. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, men make changes because of a woman. And what we hear women say, and this is not to bash women, but this is the facts, is that I wish that you showed more emotion. Mm-hmm. But when we do show that more emotion, we get the same thing that we got growing up, which is you showing too much emotion.
Right.
You know, you acting like a bitch.
Right.
Man up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, how much emotion do you really want me to show you?
Yeah.
Because if I'm feeling in the moment,
Yeah.
and you're the person that I'm supposed to be able to confide in, and if you're telling me to shut the fuck up and to man up and to be, just to deal with it, then who can I really turn to? Because men don't trust men very often.
Very often, exactly.
It is very hard to find, for guys to find people that they trust, or just to find friends in general.
So I'll say
Exactly.
that because we've talked about that before, where there's certain people won't let you in the house. And vice versa. I want you to know where I live. Like,
Right.
we cool and all that. We can meet, but I've been blessed to have some good guys, and I still haven't got everybody together in one room. And if y'all could hear the conversations that happen separately, if I could put everybody in one room together, boy.
So that would make you kind of an anomaly, because you have, based on what you're saying, you have
But not
such
everybody knows where I live, though.
a.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As I get that.
And I agree. It's like so. I've been out here 6 years, something like that. Like now, and I have a couple of best friends. Like one of my best friends live in Atlanta. Recently got married last week. Right.
Congrats.
Congrats. Now I missed it because I wasn't seeing my
Congrats.
daughter.
Okay.
Right. But I have a very small circle. Right. And if Jeff knows this, when I first moved out here, everybody wanted to be around me, right? And it was from the attention I was getting, who everybody knew I was, and everything else. And I had bad relationships, right? It was people using me for what they can get out of me, whether it was going out every fucking night and getting free tables, all this stuff, right? But as I matured, I started seeing who actually had my back. Like, Jeff had my back because I knew when I had situations going on, I said, Jeff, bro, like, am I here? Nah, bro, you tripping. Right? You got a man's like that. Or when he had his situation going on, I was like, all right, hold on, I'm your bro, right? I'm gonna have to keep it real. Like, I need to know what's going on to make sure I got your back.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you got a person like that who's not offended by you keeping it 100 with him, you know, all right, bro, like, we're gonna rock it out. We're gonna go to war for
sure.
Right.
Right? But it's hard for men to find people like that.
Right.
Like we got consistent friends, Deidre, Bobby, like guys who we know, like at the end of the day, if we right or wrong, they're still gonna rock with us.
Yeah.
But they're going to let us know.
They're gonna check you.
Yeah.
They're gonna check you.
And that helps us, man.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to look over your shoulder and be like, man, bro trying to get one over on me right now.
Right.
Nah, and that makes you stronger as a man.
Agreed.
I hope that in the long run, every man that we interact with, every man out there can find that. Right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are lucky like that. But if you can find, I would say, two men
That's true.
that you can confide in, man, it's gonna make a world of a difference, bro.
If you could find one.
Yeah.
I'm reading the book. It's called Relational Intelligence right now by Dr. Darius something.
I know what you're talking about.
Relational, and it talks just about that, about being able to find one person that has your back and will let you know when you messing up. Because when you have those people in your corner, then they can show you a different path.
Yeah.
And that path is usually the path of enlightenment. It's the path that of, I ain't gonna say righteousness, but it's the path that gets you to the point where, like, damn, I remember back when. It's the journey path, as opposed to the path of destruction, or continuing down the path of destruction.
Success rather than destruction.
Is that this too? So we always say, or a lot of us say now, iron sharpens iron, right? So, I wouldn't be where I am today without you two, right? And I say that I want them to know that. That's why I keep saying that kind of shit. But I think it's that too. Is a lot of people can't do that check-in. They can't do that until they find the people that they really can feel vulnerable with, and the accountability. Let's get back to the accountability side of the coin, because I think that's where the bread and butter is. Like this girl said, and you remember what the girl said?
No,
okay.
We talked to so many people on this couch.
Okay,
bro.
so this woman, I'm sorry to say girl, this woman basically was saying something to the effect of they are accountable, that women are just as accountable as men, and that we're not correct in our thinking of, Slash gonna tell me, yeah, you fucked up. Mark, I know you're gonna tell me, yeah, you fucked up. Like, yeah, bro, you need to do this. Or I'm gonna show you the path so you don't go down this path again, and we're not gonna live the same life we did before, right? We're changing it up, right? We're done with this, right? Okay, cool. Shut the door. Let's move on. We doing that. They said basically that they do the same thing, and they are accountable, and they do check each other and all that other kind of stuff.
I think there may be a small group of, I think there may be a percentage of women that do that. I mean, because there are women that are about their shit, right? There are women that are about their shit. They have a tight knit circle, and they want to make sure that these are the women that you see that are generally excelling. They found their circle, and I'm sure that there's a percentage of women that do that.
Yeah.
I think what we speak to is the ones that we have encountered.
Yeah.
Right. That say one thing, and their actions say something else. Or they're afraid of having tough conversations. You could tell someone, and this is man or woman, you could tell someone who isn't able to hold accountability based off of the type of conversations that they are or are not able to have.
Yeah.
If you can't have a serious conversation with a person, then you know that they're not able to take accountability for their actions.
And I'm glad y'all switched to this topic, because I'm about to share something with y'all, right? Women, I want to do this to make sure, I know when I talk about these topics, there's the misogynistic and things come up, because once again, anytime a man sets boundaries and standards, if a woman doesn't agree, he becomes misogynistic and controlling. But a man is more willing to listen to his partner and work with her on her boundaries. A man that wants, let me rephrase that, a man that wants longevity and substance.
Facts.
We have these underwhelming, immature men. I was one of them, I can't lie to y'all.
We all been there.
Right, we all been there. But a man that wants you in his life long term, all right? You both are going to have boundaries and standards, because I'm a male and you're a female, is going to look quite different.
Facts.
I'm idealistic. Women are opportunistic.
True.
Right?
True.
And so, when we're talking about accountability, it's going to look different. For me as a man, right, we have been groomed we were birthed to be problem solvers. Right?
Right.
Our basically work lies in our financial stability, right? Our status and power, and all of that, just a trickle-down effect of who we are, right? How we go about that looks different, but the more financially stable I am, the more attractive I am to a woman, because she's opportunistic, right? The more status and power I have, the more respect I have. Men, we love respect. Right? So when we're coming at it from a partner standpoint and accountability, you're like, okay, listen, you're wanting all of this, right? You want me to protect, provide, and have provision. I'm willing to do all of that. Here's what I require for you to have that, right? And it's not give or take. It's like, no, listen, here's what I require.
Period. As women say.
Right?
Period.
And listen, that doesn't mean I'm controlling.
No, it's not.
And I'll break it down really quick so men and women see it like this, is that if I'm with a woman, right, and she's getting robbed, and I don't do anything.
Right.
What she's gonna do? She's gonna look at me weird, right? If I'm with a woman and I'm not financially fit and I'm laying on my ass and I'm lazy, she's gonna look at me different. If I'm not doing my job as a man, right? She's automatically gonna look at me different. Not many women are willing to go to war with you through that phase. But if you don't have to tell me to protect you if something's going on, if you don't have to tell me as a man to get out here and bust my behind and pursue my passion with a passion, right? Why should I have to tell you as a woman to stop putting yourselves in situations that are going to increase your risk of messing up us? Because I know when you're getting dressed and you're going out, right? That's the accountability factor from just because women are physical creatures. There is no way I need to tell you once you're with me, the focus is us, is we. You going out to the club and having date night with your single friends does us no justice. I'm not telling you not to enjoy yourself. You can have dinner, but you coming home, love. Ain't nothing in the streets for us no more. I'm not going to be in the streets like that, right? Because my mental is now on us to grow. Because you go to the club, I'm sure you're going to hear tons of men hit on you.
Right.
Some who are going to look better than me. Some who probably have more money than me. The majority of the time, they're folks that try to take you home that night.
Right.
And then you're going to get drunk, where we already know your heightened senses are lowered, which you're increasing the chances of you doing something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I always say, now imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine we went to the club. There's a ton of women there, and they all hitting on us. But the sole person trying to take us home that night. Some gonna look better than you. Some gonna have more money than you. How does that make her feel?
Oh man.
You feel me? How does that make you feel?
Oh man.
And so once again, so we're not controlling you. Men are idealistic. We see things, we understand what the result is going to be.
Facts.
Right? So we're trying to avoid that.
Yes.
Right? Now, yes, you're going to run into the red flags of the men who are trying to take advantage of you. But as a woman, hold yourself accountable for vetting these men. You know, and that's what we call.
I think that's the part where a lot of people. I mean, even as a guy, we miss the boat sometimes.
Of course,
you know,
we
miss the boat. Like you mentioned, we've done our due diligence in the past. I think what ends up happening, however, is that the women who may have been in relationships, they may have gotten out of relationships. They want to have their fun.
That's
you know, they want to have their fun, and unfortunately, at the grown age that we are, that fun shouldn't look like it did when we was 21, 19, 18, 22, 25 years old.
Yes.
You know, so that does speak to the character of the individual itself.
Yep.
You know, I can't find myself at a club no more. You know, that's
here's the reality of that, right? A man's prime is much longer than a woman's prime, right? So, and facts over feelings. A man's prime is much longer than a woman's prime. Once a woman hits 30, her reproductive organ to have kids start decreasing, right? A woman's sole purpose is to create life and nurture. That's why women are hardwired to be emotional, right? That's why women can take the things that we do and want to succeed, and if they apply themselves correctly, we're unbreakable bond.
Because they can speak life.
They can speak life. Exactly. Right. They can speak life, they create life.
Right.
Right? True. So now, like we just talked about, you see how it all works itself out? Knowing our roles. Right? And so like you got women where they spend their younger years, excuse my language, fucking around, partying around, enjoying life. Right? And then once they hit a certain age, they want to settle down.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, while you was doing that, I was grinding. Right? And so now you're telling me I've grinded for such and such amount of time that you're just gonna come in and you want all of this. And you don't expect me to vet you. Right? Like a woman's, and I saw this not too long ago, a woman's sexual past means more as much to us as a man's financial stability to a woman. Right? And so think about that. A woman's sexual past means more to us just as much as us to a man financial stability to a woman.
I don't know about the aspect of, 'cause I don't want to know about your sexual past as a woman, but I 1000% agree that when a woman comes into your life, you bring them into your life as a partner. Like if you look at it in a biblical sense, God created Eve because Adam asked for a partner. He asked for a helper.
Yeah.
He asked for a helper. He said he needed help, and God created Eve. Now, how long did it take for him to create Eve? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how long that delivery process was. May have been delayed a little bit. But Adam asked for help. And it's funny that you hear a lot of women, whether traditional or modern, talk about, I'm not a helpmate.
And I don't need.
And I don't want somebody that wants a helper.
Right.
But they want to have traditional values of, I want to get married, I want to be in the church, I want to have a covenant before God. Well, wait a minute. Baby. Eve was a helper.
Yep, exactly. and, man, listen, you just hit it on the head. You just hit it on the head. We're in, like we talked about off camera, we're in a sensitive environment where, one, social media has played into the mindset of people, where instant gratification is in the forefront, right?
Absolutely.
Two, a lot of podcasters are playing into the thought process of people. There's not a lot of helpers, there's a lot of talkers.
Right.
Right? There's guys out there that they're sparking confusion, they're sparking conflict.
Shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they want to get views. It's just for the views.
So the purpose of what they're doing isn't really hitting home like it should, right?
But it's not hitting home for us. It's hitting home for women because they're like, finally somebody said it. That's what we believe.
Well, exactly.
But it's wrong
and
information.
That's the mental aspect and the confusion, right? So now, diving deeper into that, right? Here's something that I've noticed. Now, I think I talked to you about this the other day. Is that a lot of people, male and female, are setting unhealthy boundaries.
Man.
Right? They're setting unhealthy boundaries.
True though.
Instead of them healing themselves. Like healing is a lifelong journey.
It is.
Right? You figure out what's good, what's bad, what you need to work on, and you work at it diligently. Therefore, when it does come up in your new relationships, it's no longer a trigger, it's a understanding.
Right.
Right? So now instead of it being a trigger to where it's a negative response, okay, hey, I've seen it before, I understand this. Let me talk to my partner in a healthy manner.
Yes.
Right? Conflict resolution. Right? And hey, babe, I went through this. I'm starting to see some signs. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Right? Not, hold on, motherfucker. I've seen this show before.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? But once again, what people have done is instead of working on themselves, I'm going to just put this as my boundaries. This is my boundaries. This is my standards. Right? Therefore, I'm just trying to avoid the situation.
Right.
It's like a motherfucker got oncoming traffic. Right? They going the wrong way, 100 miles an hour. And they just hoping that they make it to their destination.
And you know what? That's exactly what I was talking to you about yesterday when I said, when I talked about I'm not in the dating scene or I'm not trying to do anything along that, that was me trying to avoid the situation as opposed to learning how to handle those situations. You know what I'm saying? You got to put yourself through the fire. You got to put yourself into the fire to be able to get through the fire.
Have to.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of people try to avoid the situation just by putting up these, okay, this is my deal breaker. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with that. So
it's called sweeping that shit under the rug.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't say it's sweeping because sweeping under the rug would be you came into something and instead of you actually dealing with it, you just glossed over it. It's like, you know what, we're just gonna let the time pass and you know no conflict resolution in that sense. So there are some aspects where you can sweep things under the rug or just gloss over it, what have you. But for the most part, these folks are just like, you know what, I'm just going to stay away from this entire situation as opposed to learning how to deal with this type of situation.
Yep. And I always say it's like trying to avoid a bully. Right? You in school all day, every day, you know at some point this bully is trying to get you. Right? You're just running from it. And at some point when that bully catch you, he's going to beat you down.
You're going to get tired.
You're going
to get tired.
And he's going to beat you down. He or she going to beat you down. Right? But if you're preparing yourself every day, let's say this. Let's take this metaphor. If I know I got to fight, right? We're gonna say what we're going through is fighting. If I know I gotta fight, and I'm in that gym every day, working on my skills, honing my skills, right? Looking at myself in the mirror, it's me versus me, right? When that time comes to fight, not only am I prepared, but the confidence of me winning has skyrocketed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So now we put ourselves in a position to win. And this bully comes, I'm ready. Oh, you won't fight? Oh, let's get on.
Yeah, let's go.
Right? So instead of people doing that, it's we have become in this toxic environment where it's easier to shun away from it until I need to handle it.
Right.
That's what I mean.
And then when
avoidance. Avoidance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I need to handle it, 9 times out of 10, because I haven't healed properly, I won't handle it properly.
And you know, when you heal, when you on your healing journey, when you become better, you attract better.
Oh, man. Say that fucking one more time, bro. Say that one more time,
When
please.
you're on your healing journey, when you're actually working on yourself, when you're doing better, just focus on yourself, you attract better.
Man,
Yeah.
man. That there in itself is just everything in a nutshell. And it always feeds into the word accountability, right? Because if you want more, you have to do more. You have to prepare yourself for that. You know, and so I'll be honest. Like when I first moved out here, man, I was in the club 3-4 nights a
I plead the
week.
fifth. I don't know nothing about nothing.
Hard, man, hard.
Ooh.
3-4 nights a week. I got caught up because I was a former athlete. I had got that life back. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I'm getting all this attention. I'm enjoying life. Had a great woman. All of these things. I'm just like, man, like I pissed it all away because I was immature in that sense, right? And so now I could have went one or two ways. I could have just kept going down that path, right? Or as a man, it's like, okay, bro, I made a mistake. I have to figure out what I need to do.
Yeah.
Before I move forward even more, I need to figure out what I need to do.
I'm not gonna act like somebody that possibly tell you.
But you know what though?
You know?
But you know what though? We talked about this before.
Yeah.
Men change because of loss. A loss will skyrocket a man to make a change.
Man,
True.
exactly.
And he generally changes for that person. Like he makes a change because he's like, you know what? I know I fucked up with that person, so I'm going to be better because that person, you know, potentially trying to get that person back.
You know what that says to me?
What's that?
Accountability.
Yeah, you hold yourself accountable. Yeah, absolutely. You hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
You know, but what ends up happening is God don't close doors that ain't supposed to be closed. God don't close doors that ain't supposed to be closed. So although that person is the person that you wanted to change for, you change so that you can attract something better.
Big fact.
Or to open up a better door.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you do better, you attract better.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of men, I think, need to understand is that, like, if you accept, okay, bro, like, I was sleeping with all these women, that's fine. Like, what's your goal? What's your agenda? Right? What do you value? Right? Like I said earlier, pursue your passion with a passion. Like, your passion is your priority. Then under your passion, if you have kids, your priority. Then your partner is your priority. Right? But as men, and I know we go back and forth on the moon, we have to be more accountable in what we present to our partners. Right?
Right.
So we have to do the work. Like, you gotta think about it. Up until about a few years ago, pre-COVID, mental health wasn't something we talked about.
Not really.
Right? But now we have a ton of people talking about it.
Yeah.
Which is great. But we still gotta do the work. Right? And one of the ways we do work is stuff like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Hanging out, being men, kicking it with each other, expressing ourselves without the fear of the backlash.
You know why? This is therapy. Like, more than we even think about it in that sense.
It is.
We're literally getting it off our chest.
Yeah.
We're talking through whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, we can get up from this and be like,
and you're getting a different point of view.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm gonna tell y'all what rocked me. I told y'all my guy just got married this past weekend, right? He was one where, similar to Jeff, like if I had an issue,
Yeah,
like,
he was on it.
he's great at communicating, right?
Yeah.
I used to get stubborn and hard-headed, and he'd be like, all right, bro, this ain't. He'd be like, bro, but why?
Yeah.
Right? He's always,
Right.
And so, like, I was talking to him, and like he told me he had got engaged and everything. We was having the conversation, and I asked him. I said, bro, when did you know she was the one?
sorry, I don't understand.
I'm sorry, Sierra. I love you too.
Hey, sometimes other people don't understand.
But I said, bro, what made you feel she was the one? He was like, you know what, man? We had some issues. We had a conversation, and she held herself accountable. And he was like, he said, let me tell you, he said, when she did that, I knew I can work through anything with her.
Man. Keep her.
He married now.
Keep her.
He married now.
Now see,
Right?
you dropped the nugget, so we broke man code. He dropped the nugget. Now this is what we're looking for when we talk about this accountability and all this stuff. There are key things that men look for, and I know I always say men test. It's more than men are actively watching.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing it? How can we move forward? If we can't move forward, like you said, sit down and have those conversations. Sit down, baby girl. Let's talk through this.
I mean, that's exactly what it is, bro. Because if I ask a question,
something
on my phone.
Oh, bet.
if I ask a question and you lie about it, that tells me even if it's something it could be something minor, but if you lie about it, that tells me that one, you mentally we ain't in that position of the trust ain't there, you know, and so. Yo, kudos to your man.
Yeah.
And even bigger kudos to her to be mature enough to have that emotional intelligence to be able to hold herself accountable. Because that is how y'all get wifed.
Yeah.
You wanna know how you get wifed? That's how you get wifed.
We've been trying to answer this question. People have asked this question directly. How do I become a wife? And we just broke it down right here.
But there's more to that.
Yeah, there's more, but I'm saying this is a ground level.
This is the ground level.
Yeah.
Right. This is the ground level because you, as a guy, we know that, like he mentioned, I know that I could work through anything with that.
Yeah.
We talked on the show a couple weeks ago when and the girl said that, the lady said that for girls they grew up the Disney fantasy, you know, the happily ever after.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, if you think about any Disney story, there is no story, there is no movie, no story that details what happily ever after is after the wedding.
Yes, it is. Up.
See,
Up.
you man,
Up.
man, you hit it. Because now think about it. A lot of people want the wedding, well, they want marriage, but they want the wedding, but they don't want marriage.
Facts.
Right? They don't want to have and hold to death do us part.
Right.
Right? Now, here's something, and I'm glad my phone up. I'm gonna share with y'all something because y'all know I do a lot of research, right? And it goes. Let me hurry and pull this up. When you're talking about like marriage and stuff. Let me happen.
And while you're looking at it, there is one movie. It's not a Disney movie. Shrek the Third. It's the only movie that talks about marriage after the wedding.
Shrek
The only one.
Yep. And now listen to this, right? These are questions that are asked.
Okay.
Right? Who, and I'm gonna ask you right now, I'll ask y'all, who is more easily bored in a relationship?
Easily bored?
Male or female?
Women.
Female.
All right. So females are more easily bored in a relationship. Why are they more likely to want marriage and commitment?
I always think they want a partner, but I always think stability. Want someone, and I hate to say it this way.
Status.
Yeah.
The status.
I want to be able to show the ring, like you see the picture fast, quick.
Exactly. So if they are easily bored and their true purpose is for the status of it, right? If they are strong and independent and voice that they don't need a man,
It's over.
why is the pressure of marriage and commitment typically coming from women? Think about that.
Because
Because
I don't know if I want to say that, but I want to say it.
It's because of the tradition. It's because of the tradition.
my man just hit a home run. Think about it.
Traditionally, we live in a modern world
True.
with people who want to have a traditional wedding or with traditional relationship.
Get married by this age.
You can't do
have
that.
kids,
You can't live in both worlds.
Yep.
Because you got the internet now.
Yeah.
You can't go back to no internet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
That's what that is. Is you trying to live in this digital world, but basing it off of analog
1950s.
Yeah.
System.
Analog system or analog concept.
Yeah.
You know, and in the aspect of even the wedding. Think about this. A lot you hear women talk about. You hear women talk about the marriage certificate. Marriage certificates didn't exist until 1929. I looked it up.
Shout out to my family. They was born that year.
Marriage certificates were not a thing until 1929. What happened in the 1920s? The Great Depression.
Yeah.
It was a way to get money.
Yeah.
The Revenue Act.
Yeah.
Everything is, and that's what I said. When you take a sit, someone told me to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. You know how you can't see the trees if you're in the forest, but you can only see them when you back up, and you really see the grand scheme of things. There's a setup like you talked about. He always talked about, why am I signing a piece of paper for the government? Well, that's how I look at it. For the government to be involved, when if me and you on this couch together, we're on this couch together. Period.
I'll tell you
I
why.
got you. We got you.
I'll tell you why.
No. I know why. I'm just saying.
No. You don't, because I didn't know why. The reason why you signed that paper, the reason why that paper is required, is because the government wanted to know who you were marrying, because they wanted to avoid interracial marriages.
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
And now,
That's why.
and now think about
see
this
that. I
part.
can see
Think about adding into that aspect.
I've signed
of
a couple
marriage,
marriage certificates too. by the way.
Also, a woman basically is raised, and I hate to use the word groom, but she's conditioned that she needs to have a career by this point, have kids by this point, be married by this point. So now she's seeing all these pressures, and if she's not, it's a failure. So what women do, they marry these men with the hopes of possibly having that long term, right? And so now what happens is, once they, let's say someone gets married and then a year or two they get divorced because they truly didn't vet their partner like that. Well,
Shit happens.
the courts,
I'm just-
unfortunately, if you actually do your research, the courts have actually made it to where getting married is like 90% successful for a woman. Because no matter what, and I broke it down this early, because think about it, 60 to 70% of marriages are initiated by women. And it's not about cheating. I think it was 40 or 50% were just for irreconcilable differences.
Are you talking about divorces? You mean?
Yeah, divorces, right? So now, when we're looking at that, is that now coming into it, and I want everybody to understand it from a factual standpoint, is that your incentive of getting married is that you basically create one with some man who basically, he spent his whole life building everything that you're about to get, right? And you can just feel, you can get up one day and be like, I'm done,
Shit, yeah.
and take almost everything he's built. And that's why when you talk about a prenup with a partner, a woman, I say, why don't I need a prenup? You know why? But you're opportunistic, because here's what happens. You divorce, and here's the reality of it. You divorce, right? The court sides where you get the house. 80% of the time, you're going to get the kids. You're going to get alimony. You're going to get child support. You're set, right? And within about a year, you'll be dating and finding another partner.
Well, wait. I got to say this, because I did mortgages. If the woman gets the house, she still has to qualify for that house.
Yeah.
So she has to go
okay.
through the process
Okay.
of getting a mortgage and of being able to afford that home off of just her income. And if she cannot do that, then they have to sell the house.
They have to sell it. Yep. And so she's still coming out with bread, right? And she's coming out with some type of stability. Meanwhile, the man, on the other hand, the assumption is we're built for it. So over the course of 10 to 12 to 15 years, everything we've literally worked for has been either split in half or worse. We have to figure it back out. We got to just keep grinding, right? But on top of keep grinding, we're now having more bills to pay, alimony, child support, the thing that we talk about. Meanwhile, a woman never, let me rephrase that, a woman, most of the time, never dates down.
That's true.
So whatever status she has basically got into.
Well,
Majority of
never
the time.
marries
yeah.
down. Let's say never marries down.
Never married down.
Let's say never
But even
marries
date
down.
down, because majority of the time, once a woman hits a certain status with a man, right?
She won't go down from that.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's tough.
I think it
That's
depends
tough
on.
to
I think it
say,
depends
bro.
on the woman. But like you said earlier, you said something very profound earlier, which is that women control the sex, men control the marriage.
Yeah. Think about it. Think about that.
That's real. Yeah.
And a lot of women go back and forth, and I want everybody to understand that when we say this, is that because of women's emotional nature, right? And men are idealistic. In order for, and this is most of the time, we have the horse for both genders out here who just willing to have sex with anybody. A woman has to see something in a man to want to give him access to her.
Right.
We do have rapists, we do have child molesters that we're not talking about them dummies, right? We're talking about just a general consensus of male, female, that a woman is giving herself to this man because she sees something in him, whether physically, mentally, whatever, right? She sees basically something in him that's saying, I'm ready to give myself to him, right?
I think it's more so that he mentally infiltrated her, because
That's part of it too.
A woman gives herself based off of how the mind.
She had to get him access to her. So
True.
what,
Right,
mind
right,
anything,
right.
it could be that he looked good, so she's giving him the time of day, right?
Or he's a nice guy.
Or he's a nice guy, or one he's going out and he's buying her dinners consistently.
So a woman said this, and I got another question for you coming after this.
Yeah.
I just want to flesh out this first. So a woman said something to the effect of, they don't necessarily date for looks. They date for what's he got? Was he contributing? Was he,
Being a provider,
what are these
being taken care
attributes?
of.
What are
That's
these
a lie.
attributes?
Majority of the time, that's a lie. Some women do that.
No. Excuse my language, but they fuck for different reasons than they marry and date.
Yeah, because they marry for stability.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't have to be
The best looking guy.
the best looking guy.
She don't have to be
But if
attracted
you got
to
a lot
him.
of money, you got to have status.
Right,
Once again,
but it's money over looks.
Right.
He now
But
has
that's a
money.
status.
He can ugly as
that's
shit.
status.
Right, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. They're marrying for those.
So here's a concept for that, right? To simplify this, a woman can look pretty. She can get into a club for free.
For sure.
She can get on the boat for free.
Right.
Well, yeah.
A man
Cannot.
has to buy the table at the club in order to get some status in the club. A man has to buy the yacht, buy the fuel, rent the harbor. Right? If you don't want to drive, you gotta rent somebody to do it.
Right.
Just to get that woman on the boat. So women have it on easy control, cruise control.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So when we're coming down to it, once again, it's status. I have to provide, once again, provide, protect, provision. I have to provide something of value for you to consistently fuck with me.
That's true. And then, but then here's the kicker: provide, protect, provision. Right? Those are husband duties. But you always hear, "I'm not giving wife duties. I'm not giving wife duties when I'm not a wife."
That's not that.
But sweetheart, like,
Yeah.
let's make it make sense. If I'm not protecting you, or if I'm not providing for you, you're not fucking with me anyway. It's not happening. And I get that you don't want to give wife duties, but imagine if I just say, you know what, you getting robbed. Well, shit, I'm not your husband, so I'm not going to protect you.
Yeah, you by yourself, I'm gone.
You know,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have wore
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
know, oh, you getting hit on. You know, you getting hit on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not your husband.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if we went down that same petty. I'm gonna call it petty because that's
The
what they.
roles are
The
reversed.
same petty role that they try to allude to us when it comes to just a standard. And like you said, women choose who we date,
Yeah.
or who they date.
And who they have
Men
sex
choose
with,
who they marry.
And think about it. And to simplify exactly what you said is that when it's time for you to, let's say, propose, you're not going to propose with the hopes that this woman is your wife,
Right.
right?
You gonna know.
You are proposing that because this woman has shown you over the course of a specific amount of time that she possesses all the qualities that you desire in a forever partner, right? So what I want women to think about as they hear this is that what am I, and I hate to use the term bring it to the table, what qualities
Okay.
do I possess that is going to make me attractive to a man that is wanting what I want forever, right? And it's you can't just flip a switch. I'm a wife. You can think you're a wife, right? You can think you possess it, but I always ask this. Watch this. How do you know?
Well, you don't know, because being a wife isn't in the eyes of yourself. The same way that you can't give yourself, you can't rank yourself that I'm a 10, because it's based off of off of the actual community.
Man, you're ready
They're
for
not
that.
ready. We need to say that.
It's
You're
based
right.
off of the community.
Yeah.
It's based off of, well, I won't say the community. I would say it's commerce.
Yeah.
These are like stocks, right? Imagine if I was a company, if I was a corporation that was traded on the stock market, and I said, you know what, I think my company's worth $1,000 per share, right? That's what I think. But in reality, my company's only worth $10 per share, right? It's a pretty big difference. You can't you can't dictate what your worth is. It's based off of. I mean, I get you. We want you to be confident.
Yeah.
We want you to be positive. But in all reality, it's based off of what the actual public sees you as.
And what's your?
So I got to use this real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. So I saw something where the person said, give me a rating of who you are, and give me a celebrity, the equivalent of that. And you tell me why you and the celebrity are the same.
Now.
That's all I got to say.
Now listen. Here's what's funny about that, and this is why social media has caused the demise of a lot of relationships.
Big time.
Because it's confused the reality of what a person is. Like you said earlier, if you know better, you'll do better. If you do better, you'll attract better.
Right.
Right? Well, think about this. Females generally get more attention than men via social media.
Right.
Right? So indirectly or directly, she's getting sprayed with comments, DMs,
Right.
likes, and everything, right? So now her subconscious is, I'm gonna keep posting this to get that traffic, right? And she may, in her mind, act like I'm not doing it for nothing, but come
It's
on
attention, bro.
once again, it's the attention aspect of it. And
Feeding
so
the ego.
you're posting things knowing what you're gonna get, right? And so what happens is, think about if she's doing this day after day, year after year. It takes 21 days to build a habit. Think about the subconscious that comes with it, right? So for her, she's thinking it's for likes and views, but if it is for likes and views, you can turn it off, right? You can turn it off. If it's for likes and views, you can turn it off. You don't care about it.
I want to
right?
say something
But,
bad.
but what happens is it becomes their identity.
Yes.
And and their identity is now based off the perception. Remember I said this earlier, of men, majority of men who want you for a short time, not a long time.
Right. Fun time. Yep.
Yeah, fun time, not a long time. And now you're trying to bring those comments as your attractiveness into a relationship that you're wanting longevity. It's conflicting demands, right? Just like men, right? Our status, like we're trying to figure out who we are. We're trying to figure out what we can give to people. So now you got dummies who go and buy chicks like dinner over and over again, and they won't tell a female their true agenda, right?
Right.
So, and now once again, it's a conflicting he's trying to do this to buy time to see how much she's going to give, or he's trying to buy time to see what she's willing to give. Remember, is she relationship material or is she sex material? And he's not going to tell her. He's just going to put her in that category.
That's what men do.
Right?
We put
and that's
you in
how men do
categories.
it.
And you know, and I'm gonna give y'all some free game, ladies. I'm gonna give y'all some free game on break man code. The way you can differentiate the two is based off of the questions that they ask you. There's this post. This is one thing I do like about Instagram or social media is that there can be a lot of positive shit on there.
Can be.
The difficult conversations be making the best relationships.
Hands down.
Because if you cannot have a difficult conversation, if you cannot answer a difficult question, without
Without getting offended.
without being offended, without being offended,
boy.
and if a guy cannot ask, or if you can't ask a difficult question,
Right.
If no one asks a difficult question, then you know what time it is. Hey, all right, I just like the vibe. You know, the vibe is cool. I'm keeping the mind in a good spot. You know, I ain't ruffling no feathers. You know, because when it comes to a long-term relationship, you gotta be able to weather those storms. You gotta know you can weather those storms.
Can you stand the rain?
You know,
and speaking to that, something I want ladies to understand is, now listen, and I think I told you this off camera as well. Y'all have to do a better job of vetting these men. Because what happens is, just what he alluded to, it's about the questions, but that's part of it. The most important part is the actions that come after the questions, right? Because we have some asshole men out here who will vet you just to see what he can get out of you.
Word.
Right?
Word.
Yep.
And so now, what you have to understand is, you have to hold yourself accountable to the truth. Right? Not your truth, not my truth, but the truth. Whatever your goals, okay, yes, it may sound like he got status, he got money, he look good, but what can he do for you?
Like, what is your goal from this?
Yes, exactly.
That's what it's like. What is your end goal from this?
Yes.
If your end goal is to not waste time, then why are you wasting time?
Exactly.
Thank you.
And it's all, once again, about being honest and true to yourself, and holding yourself more accountable than somebody else will. You know, so when you're vetting these men, like, truly understand what type of people you're dealing with, because there are, you know, wolves in sheep clothing. I think that's how I said.
Yep.
That's true.
Right? And unfortunately, we've all had bad experiences. But what we need to both understand as male and female is, the more honest we are with ourselves, the better chances we have of finding a partner that works for us. We're not filling people up. We're not basically, you know, what I call season holders. You know,
or seat holders.
Huh?
Seat holders.
But you know, I will say this, Slack, before you finish, bro. You mentioned wolves in sheep clothing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that will try to put the actions to the words, not because they're serious about it, but because they know that if my actions don't match what I'm saying, I'm not gonna get what I want. And once they get what they want, once they get what they want, all you gotta do is get them on the hook.
Right.
Once you get them on the hook, then that's when you know shit can change.
So that's what's called
watch
game.
this.
That's what's called game. That's what people call game.
I'm glad you said that. So now think about this, right? Women have an innate ability to see through bullshit.
Thank you.
Right?
Some.
Look.
No, all.
No, all women. Because the way they're hardwired. Because women are emotionally hardwired.
They choose and pick.
Like, they see and feel things we won't ever be able to process. And here's where I'm going with that. Women have this innate ability to see through bullshit. The issue is, guys.
Oh, that's what it is. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
The issue
there you go.
is that a woman will accept that, and with the hopes of emotionally, I'm gonna say this before I get to that part.
Change it?
They do that. They're thinking that, okay, I'll outlast your bullshit, and I'll slowly and gradually change you. AKA emotionally manipulate you.
God damn it, Slack.
Right?
God
Now, and guess what happens? It becomes a whirlwind of bullshit that they happen to deal with. Right? It's because women hate men that try to manipulate them, but them themselves
will try to
emotionally manipulate you.
God damn it.
Right? And so that's just the tail of the tape, and that's where the war kicks in. I told you already what it is, baby. I told you exactly who I am and what it is. You thought you can outlast the game.
But I told you what it was.
Yeah, and now because you're in your feelings, because I'm not changing, you're mad. And now what do? You throw your emotions at me. Get frustrated, get angry, tell me why I shouldn't be doing this.
Or it is.
Crying, right?
That's
now you're becoming emotionally manipulative.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we're at war. Because you're trying to change me into something I told you from the start that I'm not. And now you're emotionally invested, right? Your time is invested, and now
your body's probably invested too.
And so now think about it once again. We started at the beginning. A woman's prime is shorter than a man's prime. Right. So now she's wasted time. So now the pressure's on her. Okay, that's one shitty relationship. I gotta keep going. I've already gave myself to this. And you see the cycle?
It's just a
And then what if a kid came out of that?
And that's what I'm saying. Even with a kid, the baby daddy drama. Now I've had a kid with a man that ain't shit, excuse my language, to me. Right? Now I have to do the work to heal. Most people aren't today doing the work to heal before they get to somebody else, right? So now I have to go with what I know. What I know is this is good, this is not good, I haven't done the work. Now it's a repeater cycle. Now I got 2 kids. And it's like now you're about 33, 34, you're not really trying to be reproductive. What do you have to offer to a man that's trying to build a legacy?
Nada.
Because now, if you were 25 with no kids, that's a whole lot less that you're asking a man to accept.
Right.
And that we just made a whole full circle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And we just did that through just a regular conversation.
Wow.
Right? And it's like, and that's what it says, and it goes from both sides, right? We all have to be able to offer our partner something that no one else do. And how do you do that? Just be real with your fucking self.
You gotta be real with yourself. And you got to be real with the person that you're talking to.
Man.
You got to have that conversation. It is okay. It's okay. I swear to God, it's fine.
Bro,
if they're not on board,
Every man's gonna listen. All you got to do. I've had more than one. We've all had relationships. We've had more than one person be like, you know what? I'm not on that. Cool. Thank you for telling me.
Let me know.
All right. Or I'm on this. I'm on you. I want you to do whatever.
Hey, I want to date multiple people. Hey, okay,
Cool.
fine. Thanks for letting me know.
Thanks for letting me know. Now
Thanks
we
for
can
letting me know
move
you
on.
want to talk to multiple people, because that means that if this ain't nothing serious that I need to. I don't have to put a whole lot of weight into this.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't need to put a whole lot, because you want to do your own thing. Fine, I'll get in where I fit in. If you want to hang. But for me, if I'm on that level of I want to date multiple people too, or I'm just kind of fucking around, fine. But if I'm on something serious, nah, that ain't for me.
And we tell you this from the jump. So this, we need to hit this home, because we talk about this a lot, and I think we still have to talk about it because, you know, it is what it is. But when a man tells you, baby girl, this is what I want, or I don't want a relationship right now, that means I do not want a relationship right now.
And I'm not committed to nobody.
Not at all. And that don't mean as tomorrow you can wait it out. I mean, when I'm come to you and I tell you I want one, you can't fabricate this, and I hate to say it this way, but you can't fabricate this relationship in your head because we're doing husband type things. That's a whole nother ball game. But we gotta be careful with reading into situations without having conversations about what are we doing?
That's
What's
what
the
it is.
step?
Yeah.
What do we continue on? Does this mean that? Does that mean this? I read this. I heard this. I'm gonna check somebody quick.
Yeah.
Not having a conversation also means the same thing. It's not, hey, look, just because we ain't spoke about it, that means that I ain't serious about it. Mm-hmm. If I tell you that, hey, you know, if I ask you what are we doing, or we just like the vibe and we're just going with the flow, that's all it is. It's just you just going down river.
Yeah.
You just going down river. You're going tubing.
Yep. I'm gonna tell a secret I learned, right? Is that, like we always talk about men want respect, status, and things, right? In terms of status when it comes to a relationship, something I noticed: if a woman wants to have a relationship with you, you hold all the power. Think about, because here's why. If a woman wants you, right, that means she fully respects you, because she is approaching you understanding that I want this man.
Right.
So whatever value she sees, she's going to respect you. And when you have respect, you have power. And I'm not mean controlling power, ladies and men. So don't think about when we say the word power controlling. It's power and leverage with the understanding that this woman sees my value.
Okay.
Right? And I want to be really, really, really sensitive when I say this, is that women have a hard time with this issue here, is that they want men that a lot of women want.
Right.
Right? Because that shows her that you have value. Once that woman gets you, a lot of women having a hard time dealing with the women that want you, or the perception of that.
Right.
And so, as a man, that's where we got to do our part, right? What foundation are we saying to provide her that security, right? But it's really, really difficult, because it's like now, that same reason that you wanted us, it didn't go away because you want me, baby. It didn't go away because you want me, right? So this is where, and this is a book I tell you, it's called The Masculine Relationship, right? Whether you are the problem or not, as men, we are the solution, right? It's, I want y'all to read, it's called The Masculine Relationship. Whether you're the problem or not, you are the solution. Because you're the foundation, you're the rock, everything runs to you, right? So were you into these situations where you have a woman who sees you and she wants you, like you said, right? Okay, you want me, here's what I come with.
Right.
Right? And if she riding with you because she approached you, I'm almost certain, a woman tell you I won't date you, and you tell everything that you got going on, she gonna rock with you.
You hear me?
You hear me?
I throw it out there.
You hear me?
So
Right.
you know, I think to close it out, because we can go on for this and we got more questions. But the last question I got for you quickly is loyalty or respect?
Loyalty. I'll choose loyalty, because if you're loyal to me, that means you respect who I am, right? You respect who I am and what I do. You'll call me out. I'll choose loyalty over love as well. But the reason I say loyalty, because loyalty never wavers, no matter the circumstance or situation. You can respect me but not be loyal to me, which means you fucking over me,
Right.
right? You can love me but not be loyal to me, which still means you fucking over me. Loyalty is the brotherhood we have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm loyal to you no matter what you're doing, who you are. But I am also loyal to you to ensure that I keep you on the right path.
Facts.
I can respect you and let you go about your life.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like that's another we could talk about another day, but it's another thing. Like love. Women say I want you to be loyal, unwavering, loyal, and faithful to me.
Okay.
Right?
It is.
Okay. Well,
That's how it is, baby.
Loyalty. My man, Slack. Hey,
in the
I
building.
appreciate you, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. You know, great conversations, man. I enjoy being here, so I'm looking forward to coming back, though.
Yeah, we definitely gonna do this one again.
For sure.
We gonna expound on this one.
All right.
Y'all have a good weekend. It's the King's Experience. Jeff Jizzle, my man Slack, Mark Hill. Love.